It started off in September of 1999. For the first time ever, a Williams sister wins a Grand Slam title, and not just any Williams sister. She was the younger of two who played tennis, and the youngest of 5 in total. At just 17 years old, Serena Williams upset the #1 player in the world in the final of the US Open to win her maiden major title. The first African-American woman to do so since Althea Gibson in 1958. The kid who grew up in Compton, California, would stun not only her sister Venus by beating her to the punch, but the entire world by being just the second African-American woman to ever win it in history. Serena marched her way through that 1999 draw by beating up-and-coming teen sensation Kim Clijsters, seasoned veterans Conchita Martinez, Monica Seles, and Lindsay Davenport, who won the tournament the year prior, and reigning Australian Open champion and #1 seed Martina Hingis to claim the biggest title of her career at the time. She'd go on to make another final in 2001, losing to Big Sister Venus in one of the highest ever recorded TV ratings for a tennis match, followed by winning it again in 2002, marking the third leg of her Serena Slam, which she completed at the following Slam in Australia by beating none other than Venus Williams.
Oh, what a great shot.
She decided to skip the event the following year in 2003, having undergone knee surgery just before the tournament started. With all the success and future wins in sight, it looked for all the world that Serena and the US Open would have an amazing relationship with one another, where she would win at will, be cheered on by her numerous fans, and receive all types of home country support. But that didn't seem to be the case in 2004, where their rocky relationship with one another began. Throughout her quarterfinal match against fellow American Jennifer Capriati, Serena would fall victim to numerous horrendous line calls that ultimately became her demise and defeat. In what could easily be argued as one of the worst line calls ever made in a tennis match, at 1-all, deuce in the first game, Serena hits a backhand down the line winner, in which she immediately says after striking it. A focused Serena walks back to the line, ready to serve at advantage Williams. But instead, here's
okay, that ball was out.
In a bizarre turn of events, the chair umpire Mariana Alves, who, must I say, has a pretty bad rep of making some real questionable calls.
Well, he said, you know what he said? He said that I didn't say anything. What are you talking about?
Actually overruled the line umpire's call of in to call it out. Now in tennis, the chair umpire rarely ever overrules a call on the far sideline due to them being far. From the angle at which they're sitting, it's hard to get an accurate call of a ball from that position in the court. This is why line umpires are essential in a tennis match, as they're the ones who are specifically tasked for watching that part of the line. Ultimately, the chair ump has the final say in any decision or call that was made, and in this case, Alves stuck to her call and ruled a ball that never even touched the line, as it was that far in, out. Serena would then go on to endure a slew of horrible calls in which shot spot confirmed to be in her favor.
Wow. Oh no. Give me a break. Well, this is ridiculous.
To then losing the match. This mess of a match that turned out to be such an iconic one in history would lead to the development of Hawkeye, or as most know it as, the challenge system, which is an electronic review of the line call from courtside cameras, where players are awarded 3 challenges per set. Had Serena been able to challenge any one of those calls, who knows how that 2004 tournament would have ended up. As for Mariana Alves, she was barred from umpiring any more matches that year at the Open. However, continued to call matches up until 2020, where she then joined the supervisor team of officials. 5 years later, in 2009, Serena goes in the tournament as the #2 seed, the reigning Australian and Wimbledon champion, as well as the current defending US Open champion. A lot on the line here, no? Serena pretty much breezed through the tournament to get through to the semifinal round. She'd face a resurgent former US Open champion herself, in rival Kim Clijsters of Belgium. From the start of this match, watching Serena play, she looked nervous and tight. Sure, everyone gets nervous, but that night it was a little more noticeable. She was on edge, missing shots she wouldn't normally miss, serving not up to par, but all the credit to Clijsters, as her movement and powerful strokes seemed to be wearing Williams down. After losing the first set, Serena throws her racket to the floor in disgust, followed by a smash to the floor. Code violation. Racket abuse. Warning, Miss Williams. Now that Williams received a code violation, any rule that she could potentially break from then on out would result in a point penalty. These rules apply to bad behavior, swearing, and on-court coaching, which we'll get into a little more later on, just to name a few. At a pivotal point during the match, Serena serving to stay in it, down a set in 5-6 at 15:30. She misses the first serve, goes up for the second, and as it lands in, you could hear loud and clear,
Oh, can you believe it?
Foot fault on the second serve.
can you believe it? A foot fault called. At this stage in the match, I'd like to know how many people in the crowd even know what a foot fault is. Per the International Tennis Federation, during a player's service motion, he or she shall not touch the baseline or the court with either foot before contact of the ball is made. In doing so, the player will receive a fault on the serve. Since this was Serena's second serve, she was awarded a double fault, bringing up match point for Clijsters. Serena wasn't too happy about this, and considering the angle we're given as viewers, it is extremely difficult to tell whether or not her foot touched the line before she hit her serve. However, rules are rules, and well, I'll let you watch the events as they unfolded.
Kim Clijsters 2 match points. That is unbelievable. Is that necessary? That is extraordinary. And Serena Williams is giving it to her.
Well, she'll have to be careful here. She's already had a warning. Point penalty, game, set, match.
That wasn't it. Are you scared? As I said, I would get you. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people who said way worse. I didn't say I would kill you. Are you serious? Are you serious? I didn't say that.
She's being deflected.
That's incredible.
As a result of Williams' tirade, she was given another code violation for unsportsmanlike conduct, resulting in the next level of punishment, a point penalty. What drama this match turned out to be. You simply cannot write a more intense ending than being given a code violation, resulting in a point penalty on match point. In the semis of the US Open, Williams would go on to receive a huge $82,500 fine, as well as probation for the next 2 years for threatening the line judge. After skipping the event in 2010 due to more injuries, Williams came to the 2011 US Open red hot. Despite an early scare in the year after being diagnosed with having a pulmonary embolism, Williams was able to bounce back with wins in Stanford and Toronto leading up to the Open. She made it to the final without losing a set. In her way, a big serving Aussie with a forehand that could push almost anyone off the court, Sam Stosur. She really took it to Williams, racing off to a quick start and in a blink of an eye, wins the first set 6-2. In the first game of the second set, Serena down a break point. She hits a good first serve, which sets up a sitter forehand for her to cream, which she does. But immediately after she makes contact, she screams. The umpire, Ava Azdaraki, calls hindrance promptly after the point. What was that for? A hindrance call is when a player is hindered in playing the point by a deliberate act of the opponent. This ties in with any form of talking,
hindrance, loss of points.
screaming, taunting, or deliberately distracting the opponent while the ball is in play.
Hindrance.
According to Azdaraki, Serena yelled out "come on" before the point was over, therefore hindering Stosur's play on the ball. From a viewer standpoint, she yelled before the point was over, which is ultimately against the rules. This didn't sit too well with Williams, and as you can imagine, she had some choice words for Miss Azdaraki herself.
I'm not giving her that game. If anything, we should have ever see me walking down the hall, look the other way. Because you're out of control. You're out of control. Totally out of control. You're a hater and you're just unattractive inside. Inside. What a loser. You get a code violation because I expressed who I am. We're in America last I checked. Or am I going to get violated for water? Really, don't even look at me. I promise you, don't look at me. Because I am not the one. Don't look my way.
As a result of yet another tirade, Serena was fined $2,000 for ripping Azarenka apart during the changeover break. Williams would go on to lose that final in a whopping 6-2, 6-3 scoreline and claim her 4th ever loss in a final at a Grand Slam. In one of the most infamous altercations not only in tennis, but in sports history, in 2018, Serena would face soon-to-be household name Naomi Osaka in the final. Osaka, playing in her very first major final and playing against her idol from childhood, would power through Williams, just as Williams powered through the rest of the field to get there. After losing the first set, up love 1 in the second, Osaka serving, Williams receives a code violation for coaching. Now, as Williams said during her confrontation with chair umpire Carlos Ramos, she's never received a code violation for coaching. So understandably, I don't think she fully understood what this meant based off her verbal response. According to the ITF rules of tennis, coaching is considered to be communication, advice, or instruction of any kind by any means to a player. Caught by courtside cameras is Williams coach Patrick Mouratoglou gesturing to Williams what appears to be a signal to move forward, but not to Serena's knowledge.
I don't cheat.
As Mouratoglou explains after the match, he admits to coaching, but also admits that every player is receiving some sort of coaching at this stage.
100% of the matches. So we have to stop this hypocrite thing. Sasha was coaching every point too. And it's strange because this chair umpire was the chair umpire of most of the finals of Rafa, and Tony's coaching every single point, and he never gave a warning, so I don't really get it.
Take that for what you will, but at the end of the day, coaching is still illegal in tennis, which is why Serena received a code violation. After a long discussion on the change of ends, Williams said she thought her and Ramos were on the same page with what happened. And by on the same page, it sounds like she expected Ramos to take the violation away, which is almost unheard of. After losing her serve at 1-3 in the second set, Williams throws her racket in disgust, and it breaks, resulting in another code violation, meaning a point penalty. Williams, now fuming, gets extremely upset at the fact that Ramos is insinuating she is in fact cheating, and all hell breaks loose.
Unbelievable. Every time I play here, I have problems. What? Yeah, that's a warning. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. You need to make an announcement that I didn't get coaching. I don't cheat. I didn't get coaching. How can you say that? You owe me an apology. You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her, and I've never cheated. And you owe me an apology. And I explained it to you. For you to attack my character is something that's wrong. Yes, you are. You owe me an apology. You will never, ever, ever be on another court of mine as long as you live. You are the liar. When are you going to give me my apology? You owe me an apology. Say it. Say you're sorry. And don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Yeah,
Don't appoint me. You're a thief, too.
The final straw for Ramos after enduring Serena's verbal blows came when she called him a thief. And well, he didn't seem to really like that so much.
Code violation, verbal abuse, penalty, Mrs. Williams.
A third code violation for unsportsmanlike conduct, resulting in a whole game loss in the final of a Grand Slam, the US Open for crying out loud, Serena's home event. The offense led to a 5-3 lead in the second set for the 22-year-old, which ultimately concluded to a 6-4 win for Japan's Naomi Osaka, and another final loss for the 23-time major champion. Williams left the tournament having to pay another fine, this time totaling up to $17,000, $10,000 for verbal abuse against Ramos, $4,000 for coaching, and $3,000 for breaking her racket. So, in total, throughout these 4 specific US Open instances, Williams paid up a total of $101,500. Although she's had many setbacks here, the US Open has proved to be one of Serena's best events, being a champion in 99, 02, 08, and 2012 through 14. She's had some of her greatest moments here and achieved some astounding records, but not without heartache, stress, and conflict from the years she didn't win. Who knows, maybe we'll see her tie the all-time Grand Slam record there this year, 24, where it all began in 1999. It could come full circle. What a story that'd be. Or we could see another showdown from one of her biggest rivals ever.